Welcome to Live, Let, Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Myka and Steve.
Hello.
And welcome back to another exciting episode
Of Live,
Let
Thrive. What is up, Myka, man?
I'm chilling, Stevie Stacks. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good on this episode 332 of your favorite short-term, mid-term, long-term rental podcast in the world, coming at you from Fort Worth and Arlington, Texas.
Let's go, man. Let's go. It's been a minute.
It's been a long minute. So we're going to talk, of course, short-term rentals, mid-term rentals, PadSplit, all that fun stuff today. I want to get into something with you because I hardly go on Facebook anymore. I go on there to go look up potential tenants, right? Sometimes I like, oh, this is a unique name. Let me see what they're trying to do. As far as PadSplit tenants or corporate or short term, sometimes I'll go into Facebook. I'm gonna look them up, see if I can find some dirt on them, right? And so, sometimes you find some mugshots, man. It's crazy. So
Yeah.
I found a few mugshots, but anyways, I saw a thing. I mentioned a couple things because like just scrolling down a little bit. Like I said, I hardly get on there, but I saw something that you put on there that and I want you to elaborate on this. You were getting hyped up about a rap battle between No Limit and Cash Money, right? It's they do these rap battles. Maybe you can explain to folks at home what these rap battles are. And I want you to do this too. So I want to say who you thought won the battle and how this could help someone in business. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you talking about? Okay, so he's talking about the verses. So
Versus, yeah.
yeah. It got real big during COVID, but kind of fell off for a while, and then they kind of just rebooted it because they did Cash Money Records versus No Limit. You know, No Limit's probably my favorite record label of all time because I love Master P and what he did with it. Yeah. So I made I did some AI videos, and everybody knows that's what I've been on real hard is promoting through AI. So I did an AI video. Basically of me, in the full camouflage, No Limit gear with the tank behind me. So I think that's the post Steve's talking about.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I personally thought No Limit won. Everything rises and falls on leadership. So leadership, No Limit probably has the better leadership, but I do think they won. Hit for hit, it could go either way, but I think No Limit probably. I think people forget No Limit probably has I think in the year 1997 they released 20 albums, which is absolutely insane at that time. And I think people forget that, but I think they won. But the versus was just knowing your competition and everything arises in your business. This is the biggest thing I tell people about that versus. If you looked on the stage, and even the people from Cash Money said this about No Limit. He was like, BG, shout out to BG. I actually hung out with him in Vegas one time, like 2 years ago in Vegas. I actually ended up in the VIP section and hung out with BG from Cash Money.
Wow.
So crazy. And then 2 Chainz was 10 steps away from me. But this is 2 years ago. But he said, as far as the organization, he goes, they destroyed us. He said, man, they came in, they had their camouflage outfits, they were all together. He was like, man, I tried to get them to do it. He said, man, they weren't trying to do it. He was just and what I always tell people is everything rises and falls on leadership. If you notice, half the people from Cash Money weren't even there. I mean, Baby was into it with Turk, one of his artists. That's the leadership side of it. He most of the time, a lot of people say Baby ran off with their money. Master P, what he did was he actually taught people how to own businesses, taught people how to, hey, if I'm gonna bring you in, I'm gonna show you the ropes so you can have your own one day. Mia X is a professor, under P's leadership. Snoop Dogg's a business mogul. 50 Cent, a lot of people don't know this. Master P's the one who sent 50 Cent on his first tour. And 50 Cent talks about it. He's he learned a lot of business game from P because, if I don't know if you guys ever heard the story, when 50 Cent first blew up, when he was on the rise of blowing up, Master P saw him and he was like, hey man, I think you're really talented. I'm gonna pay you for 8 shows if you do these 8 shows for me. So he pays him this cash up front, right? For 8 shows. And he goes, man, 50's like, yeah, man, I did these 4 shows, right? He's like, cool. He goes, after the 4 shows, Master P comes to me, he goes, hey man, we ain't gonna do no more shows. We're just gonna hold off for a minute, right? He goes, Pete comes back a little while later. Is like, hey man, you got to finish up those 4 shows. And 50 Cent was like, I did it, but he was like, that was the genius behind him. Because when I had to do those last 4 shows, I had already sold 2 million records. I was like, damn. So the last 4 shows, Snoop's 50's like this big dude on top of the rap game, but he's got to do these 4 free shows for Master P because he already paid him the money. So, but he said he learned a lot from that. But yeah, that's what the verse is. I think that's kind of what you wanted me to relate that to, right?
Yeah, yeah, because I heard I talked to a buddy at work. He had watched it too, and he similar, because he said they No Limit was more as a team.
Mm-hmm.
And he said similar, like you were saying, Turk and them was having some, issues, and it
Yeah.
wasn't as much of a team effort,
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, and you always talked about Master P being this business genius,
Yeah.
you
Man.
know,
For
and
sure, man. He is.
and so yeah, the leadership, and that's cool. I didn't know that about 50 Cent, and that's
Yeah.
definitely letting your investment season for a while before you before you cash in, right?
He cashed in his chips right when he's at the very top. He's like, hey, bro, we got to do those last 4 shows. And 50 was like, I did them. But then he was like, damn, I already sold 2 million records. Like, damn. And what 50 said was, most people would look at that like, oh, P got over him. He was like, nah, man, I had to learn. Like, oh, that's how he's Master P really seen the vision in him. He's like, this dude's going to blow up. And then he just kind of used it right then and there. I was like, man, that was smart.
So he got a high return for his investment, I'm sure.
Huge return on investment. Imagine 50 Cent top of his game and he's doing these 4 shows. You don't know it's free. You're paying all this money. It's going straight to Master P, bro. So,
Oh man. That's cool. That's cool. And now 50 Cent's doing all the movies and stuff and TV shows.
business mogul, man. That's what I say, man. Everything rises and falls on leadership, man.
And Snoop was broke when he got with Master P.
Yeah, he said it. He taught me how to own a business, man. Straight
Wow.
up.
That's cool, man. Taking care of your employees. That's important, right?
Yeah, there you go. Taking care of your employees, man. I listened to a really good podcast by John Maxwell. He always talks about the best leaders build the people up around them, so then they can go out on their own. Because people, if you build people up, a lot of people are like, oh, if I build them up, they'll leave. That actually builds brand loyalty. They'll stay by you.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
That is true, man. Man, so much to talk about. What you been up to, man? What you been up
That's
to?
what I was saying. We got to do some catch up, man. I mean, I don't know when was the last podcast?
Man, it's been a few months probably.
Okay, so if it's been a few months, man, I didn't went to Cali. I was out in Huntington Beach, California for like a week with my mentor. I was out there.
Thatch Nguyen.
Yeah, out there with Thatch Wind. Man, that was really good. That was like refreshing for the soul. Got to hang out on the beach, and then just around all this energy, this positive energy. Me and Mahogany were out there for a week. Came back. We closed on our duplex. Our cost seg we're finishing up our cost segregation study. And what with this weekend, me and Mahogany, we really been trying to tag team the business, like going hard on tag teaming it. This weekend, we're gonna run our numbers, and see if we can hop out of the short-term rental space, and just mainly go just long-term, because our cash flow from our long-term should be able to really bring us some really good cash flow. And it's also removing the headache. We're really good we're doing the midterm thing right now. It's slow, and we know we do the short-term in between, but it's slowing up. So we're thinking hopefully by the end of 2026 we can probably be out of the short term, midterm, and just do all long term and focus on buying, bigger deals. Because right now we're trying to close on that 12-unit apartment complex I told you about. I think I talked about it. They took it off the market. When we were doing our 1031, they took it off the market because they couldn't get what they wanted. They just put it back on, but they lowered the price by like $100,000. I'm like, damn. So I hit up my boy. I hit up my lender. My lender's like, okay. He goes, my only issue, and I'm gonna be real, my only issue is they didn't take your first offer, which was at 580 for it. No, 520. Whatever it was. I think it was at 5. It might be 520 or something. They lowered it to 520. And he goes, hey, and they still aren't. He said, it's still for sale. I'm like, yeah. He goes, okay, well, he like gave me the full rundown on multifamily. He's like, make sure you walk every unit. He goes, and what you could do is walk every unit and see what you can do to add value, So I'm doing that right now. What I am finding out is I think this guy, he owns it outright. So I tried to do seller financing. I was gonna have him do hold the first position, so I didn't have to put anything down. But of course, he didn't want to do that. You know, he's older. He was like, "Nah, I just want to cash out." But if the place is sitting there, so I'm thinking something's wrong. The only thing I know for that's wrong right now is that he's undercharging on rent. Like he's like, even if he was to rent these places Section 8, he's charging like $300 under that. So when I was running the numbers on it, the guy was like, "Man, if you was to raise rents just to like meet Section 8 requirements for one bedroom, one bath," he was like, "Man, we could you buy it at 520." He goes, "Man, we could get the valuation of this thing up to like one mil." Cause cause everything on, on that side of it, that's why I'm trying to get into multifamily. It's valued off of what you're bringing in.
Mm.
So that is what I'm working on right now. I'm trying to get like a lender and also see if I can, making sure that the Section 8 numbers will fit in this area, because like across the street's kind of like a halfway house. So I'm like, maybe that's why he's charging. But even at that, he could still be charging Section 8 prices over there. And he ain't even doing that. So yeah, just a lot of learning with that, man. Trying to close on that. Got my duplex closed up. And then just doing some wholesales here and there and just really stacking reserves. And then, trying to get into multifamily. But yeah, I'm trying to definitely hop out short term, mid, and go long term.
So what I heard right there was the headache of short-term rentals. And what do you mean by that?
When I say headache of short term rentals, it's like constantly, okay, this person has to come in, that person has to come in. But if I was like on long term, like my long term tenant and my Section 8 tenant, that's like the least worried about property. The money comes and you just take it, boom, and it's there. Short term rentals and even midterms are good because you get that 3, 4, 5 months, but then between that, when now midterm ends, now you're trying to find that next client. You're advertising, and I'm not in a market like Dallas. Dallas is a little bit easier. You're trying to find that next tenant. It's a little bit gets kind of time consuming. So I'm just kind of like, man, if we could switch these to long term. So me and Mahogany are running like the numbers, like, okay, if we switch these to long term, what's our cash flow? Okay, and then will that cash flow ease us up to we can just focus on getting better deals. We read the book One Rental at a Time by Mike Zuber. Really, really good book, by the way. He signed it for me. Well, matter of fact, I met him while I was out in Cali, and he signed it for me. But yeah, man, I'm kind of pushing more towards that way. How about yourself, man? Oh, go ahead.
Well, that's funny how it came back all the way back around. Like you started off your real estate journey by
Mhm.
renting to a long-term tenant, right?
Yeah.
And then you got into short-term and then arbitrage and then, corporate and everything. And then going all the way back around. I want to just go to long-term. It's
Hmm.
easier. Lock them in and then you're done with it, right?
Yeah.
And so that, I don't know, it's a trip. It's cool because I mean, this whole show started on the premise of being a short-term rental show,
Hmm.
Airbnb show, right?
Hmm.
When you change up the description of the title a little bit. But
We still we still gonna do it, but I mean,
yeah,
because I'm still on the fence about it. Like once I run the numbers, I'm gonna be like, man, because you have to calculate headache in there as well. You
yes,
know.
you do. And I it automatically made me think of the pad splits because the learning curve on those, getting those up and
Ooh.
running, it was it was even more so than short-term rentals because I already have my short-term rental machine in place, right? They handle
Yeah.
everything, my team,
Hmm.
and I mean nuts to bolts, man. They handle it all. I mean, I'll get a message from them. If something like a major maintenance issue and they need something, whatever. Small
Yeah.
maintenance issues, they know who to call. Trash removal, they know who to call. If someone won't leave the place, they know who to call. Everything
Yeah.
and the cleaners and all that stuff. I actually get angry if like a cleaner or someone calls me. What the hell are you doing calling me? Call the team.
Yeah. 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 Straight up.
Like, well, don't you know what's going? No, I don't know what's going on over there.
Yeah.
I'll
They
know
handling it.
if it's bad enough. Yeah, it'll come to me. But so I have that in place already, right? And like you said, short can be a lot of headache. That's why I built out the team. They handle it 100%. And so when I started, I said, okay, I'm going to learn the ropes on the pad split. I started having to do crap myself again. And that's what I didn't like. I said, well, I can't just, okay, start up a pad split. Here you go. You guys, handle it from here. No, I have to learn it myself so I know what to tell them to do, right?
Straight up.
And that's the painful part. That's the painful part. But but after now I've got both units, both houses full,
Hmm.
100%, and making good money.
Hmm.
And I got, I'm screening people better. I got rid of some bad, ones that didn't fit, bad people, and
Ooh.
it's smooth, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like it's like a hybrid of short term and a long term rental.
Hmm.
Short term in a sense because they can stay, usually most of them stay 3 month terms, right? But then they extend out to about a year. But they can choose the option if they're coming for Furnished Finder or something, they can do week to week, and they'll pay a premium, but they can do week to week. So it's kind of like it's a hybrid. And once I was discouraged. I was like, "What the hell am I doing?" I wanted to jump out because all this crap I was dealing with. It's just. But once I got it, kind of like I'm not saying I got 100% figured out, but I'm doing
Yeah.
better now. Just in a few months of doing it, I know what to do, and I'm putting good people in place, and I'm making the units better. Got two houses that are, 6 bedrooms each, all of them filled up. It's kind of like a little bit like multifamily, right? Got like a
Hmm.
little hotel there, or yeah, multifamily. And so I'm looking forward to getting another one because now I got all that knowledge I'm gonna pour into the other one, and now the team is
Yeah.
handling the maintenance requests and messages from the people and stuff like that. I'm brought in if I have to, but the team knows to send the handyman out to go fix something or whatever needs to be done, right? So, anyways, it's the learning curve. Everything's hard at first, right? You're gonna
Hmm.
suck. Any new thing you try, you're gonna suck at, but you stick with it through the headache, through the bad, through the good, all that stuff, and then and you learn it. It's another tool for your investment tool belt, right?
Sure. There you go. And then my question, because you said a lot there, a lot that I have questions about too. Because I'm happy you brought up. Yeah, when you learn something new, you can't just outsource it. You got to figure it
No.
out first. Um, with PadSplit, you said you got rid of some people that didn't fit. What tenant issues have you found with PadSplit?
Well, I probably brought it up on a show where I was, one of my what I was without you on. You weren't.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think the last one. But I got a crazy dude out of there that that was
this
just
this is good. This is content we need.
I'm getting flashbacks. But it's good. It's good to know because this guy and it helps. I'll help y'all listeners out there because it'll help you learn how to deal with situations like this. So this guy, a young dude around 24 years old, worked at Amazon, just kind of stuck to himself, quiet dude. He was the first tenant I let in. And I had red flags from the beginning because I said, I'm gonna do a FaceTime. I want to see this guy. I want to see who's trying to book my house, right? My
Yeah.
Arlington house. And he answers the FaceTime call without a shirt on. I mean, at least put a at least put a damn shirt on. You get an interview with potential place you're gonna rent, right? And no shirt on. He just, hey, what's up? And everything I'm asking him just one word answers. So yeah, you've been on PadSplit for a while, right? It's showing here you had a few places. Yeah, just real short one word answers. And so shows you pay rent on time. Yeah. Just and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna think on it. I already had red flags. I didn't like. I just got good vibes from the guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, and he's like, hey, if you don't want me to there, just go ahead and deny me now, so I could choose a different place. Like he didn't give a damn if I chose him or not. Not even put in an effort. Not even put in an effort. No smile, just blank face, just like whatever. And I was like, all right, well, let me think this through. And what happened was I was telling myself, I was like, okay. I think I denied like one person before him or two, and I was just like, I gotta let somebody in this house. Maybe these are the PadSplit people. Maybe this is the norm for PadSplit.
Yeah.
Young dudes like this that don't give a fuck. But 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 anyways, I let him in the house, and everything was fine when he was by himself when there was nobody else there, right? And
Oh.
then all of a sudden, tenants started trickling in. I started getting more tenants, and then the homeboy was always walking around without a shirt. It looked like he was in his drawers. So I don't know if it was little shorts or something, man. He was just a weirdo. And he put a little kiddie pool in the backyard. I don't know, it was weird, man. And it's like just chilling in a kiddie pool. And just kind of antisocial. Not, he stuck to himself and stuff. But like the first major thing that happened was another tenant told me, hey, the cabinet below the sink in the kitchen is busted into pieces. It's just sitting there on the ground. I was like, well, that's weird, you know? And what happened? He goes, I don't know, it was just like that. And he said, but he goes around that same time when that happened, that they have a group messaging system. They can message each other inside a pad split where I can't see messages. You can message
Oh,
your pad
okay.
mates, right? And I
Okay.
can't see those messages. But they said, yeah, the that and people already had, like, he's kind of weird, they kind of started, telling me a little about him. And he said he sent a message to the group around that same time when that thing got busted. He said, he quit touching my shit, to the group like that, cussing at him. And I was like, what the hell? So I
Whoa.
texted him, and then I called him and I was like, "Hey man, did you bust out that thing?" And he's like, "Oh, well, what happened? I just opened it and it fell apart." He's fucking lying to me. He said, "But I'll pay you, man. I'll pay you for to fix it." He said, "I'll pay you $30." I was like, "No." I was like, "Well, my handyman's gonna fix it. It's gonna be $50." I said, "You can't." He goes, I said, "Also, they said you sent a message to the group. Don't touch my shit." And he just didn't even answer the question. And so he just, I was like, you can't be cussing at people on the group chat or whatever. You can't do that. Okay, one of those things. And so, like, a week or so later, um, another incident happened where he was going inside the house. I mean, I have the camera, in front, and I have the camera in the back of the house. And well, I got a call from one of the girl that rents the back of the house, and she was saying that, hey, my it looks like my tire has a flat. It's a brand new tire, and this and that, kind of insinuating someone must have sliced her tire or something, right? And so I was like, well, let me check the camera. I didn't see anything on the camera because the way her car was positioned, I couldn't see what's going on. It was at night. But that same night, that guy walks in the house. You see him walk in, and all of a sudden you see the door just bang, like slam, like someone slammed the crap out of it as hard as they could, right? And it's so hard, it just bounced right back open, you know? And I was like,
Damn.
what the hell? And I see the pad mates come out after that, like, what the? They heard like a big bang, you know? It's
Yeah.
like, but it was that guy. And I was messaging, I was like, dude, I was like, did you slam the door that night? Why'd you do that? And he just ignored my messages and calls, right? And I was like, this mother lover. And I got a lot of things going on. So I kind of, I should have acted at that moment. But the final straw was like, it was probably like a week after that. I see the same dude go inside the house. The door closes behind him. And all of a sudden you hear boom, boom, whoosh. You see the glass bust out. So there's the wood door, and it has three little glass panes, right? Three little glass where you can look through.
Damn,
He
bro.
busted the glass. Well, someone actually, how I found out, someone told me in the morning, hey, there's glass all over the front of the front of the patio, and the window, little windows busted out on the door. I was like, oh shit, let me check the camera, and sure enough, it was that same guy. He walked in, closed the door, and he busted out the glass window. And so I'm like, dude, you got to get the hell out of my house now. I was like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm messaging him. I said, you got to leave now, this and that. And he starts putting in his transfers to another pad split. And I was like, cool, he's freaking leaving. I don't have to worry about eviction and all that crap, right? And one of the girls at the places started putting some comments on him, like, "Hey, I don't feel comfortable with this guy, this and that," putting it out there in public comments. So I think whoever was gonna accept him, canceled on him because it showed him like a few times trying to transfer out, and people are canceling on him because I guess they're reading the reviews on this guy. Oh,
Hell
this
yeah.
guy's crazy, right? And so I'm like, well, I'm stuck with him now. I was like, I'm stuck with this guy. And so, anyways, and right out, and like a few days after that, he goes into one of his a pad mates there, a cool dude. I don't say their name, but he's a cool dude, cool
Okay.
brother, laid back. He just likes to be happy all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, really? Yeah, yeah.
Just a
Hey.
just a cool dude. He does it in his car. That's fine. Whatever.
Yeah,
He just likes to be happy. And but he called me up in the morning, right? And I'm at my day job, and hey Steve, this so and so, he just pounded on my door this morning and the door busted open and he just standing there like an idiot. And I'm like, what the hell? You know, what the F? He's like cussing. He's like, he turned pretty gangster real quick, man. He's like the most nicest dude ever. And he turned gangster quick. He's like, this mother lover. And he just sits there and I said, what are you doing? He said, and he just sits there and looks at me and goes, I did that. He just, I was like, man, I'm gonna kill this mother. He started going, he's turned street real bad, man. I was like, oh, dude, just don't do him crazy. I'm gonna get him out of the house. Don't worry, man. But he was fired up, dude. It's funny. And I see the phone call because he's walking out in the front, just pacing back and forth, all pissed off, right? And so I'm getting PadSplit involved. I'm doing whatever I can, and they ended up, terminating his PadSplit membership. Still, I need him out of the house, right? And luckily, because he kept saying, "Well, PadSplit says I got 14 days to notice to vacate," but because they got like a notice to vacate thing. I said, "I don't
Yeah.
care, man." It goes, I'm going over there with the 3 day notice for the courts. You're getting out of my
Yeah.
house and this and that. And I posted it on the inside of the door. And he was there when I got to the house to put that stuff in. And he was in the, oh, hey. I was like, he's like, is it cool if I leave tomorrow, blah, 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 after work? And I was like, are you gonna be gone? He's like, yeah, I'll be gone, man. I was like, well, what the hell? What are you doing all this stuff for, man? I was like, what are you busting out the glass and doing crazy stuff? He's like, oh, it's just one of those things. Just a crazy, no expression. Just like, that's the weirdest stuff, man. So I had to I had to put the 3 days notice. I had to get PadSplit involved, and they had to like cancel his membership and all. I mean, it was just, whoo, it was an event, man. It was,
Man, sound like you had Carl from Sling Blade up in one of
yeah. Well, Carl's cool, man. Carl's cool compared to this guy.
Yeah. No, you had Doyle in there, man.
Yeah, Doyle.
Oh
Man.
shit, man. Man, I wrote down a bunch of questions because that's a really good story. And let me actually kind of loop you into actually something else I've been doing. So I had this new client she wanted me to manage for her, right? But she wanted to rent by the room. But I told her, I was like, and where the place was located, I'm like, you might want to, I'm like, you should look into PadSplit. And she started asking me all these PadSplit questions. And I was like, hey, let me give my boy Steve. He does it. And everything you talked about is the questions she was asking me. So okay, so first off, PadSplit doesn't screen. You have to screen yourself.
They do a check for income
Okay.
and they do a check for what's it called? Evictions.
Okay.
I don't think that their software is very strict. I'll say that much because I have a friend who's an agent,
Mm-hmm.
and now I send her the phone number and I send her because you see their driver's license
Yeah.
whenever they apply to your one of your rooms.
Mm-hmm.
So I send her the driver's license and I send her the phone number, right? And she's able to pull up a lot more. I find out guys with criminal records and stuff. So I don't think maybe felonies show up, but
Oh.
misdemeanors don't show up whenever someone's trying to book your place.
Okay, so that leads me into my next question because this is a question that came up multiple times. Another one of my friends that's in a mastermind that I volunteer for has asked me this question too. So I noticed you said you had a female in there, so you do have males and females in one house.
Correct.
Okay, so let's just say, God forbid this happens, something happens. What's the liability insurance or something like that? What does PadSplit do?
That's a good question. I don't know what they do. I know you're gonna call the cops and get them involved, of course, if something crazy
Yeah.
happens, right? But I don't know. That's a good question.
Because that's the question they asked me. I'm like, oh shit, I don't know. I'm like,
Yeah.
I assume PadSplit had lawyers or something on deck.
I don't think, no, I think it's on you, man. It's on you to
Oh,
evict. I know it's on you to evict them and stuff like that. But
PadSplit Airbnb for rooms.
it's-
What it's starting to sound like,
it-
man.
no, in a way, yes, because actually, I'll say this, man.
Okay.
Um, and they're learning the ropes. It's the
Okay.
same. It's the same issue as Airbnb. They're trying to appease both sides, the
For
hosts
sure.
and the people they want to rent these rooms, right? The
Yeah.
pad baits. They're trying to appease both sides. So like this situation showed me that they're not very effective at getting people out of your pad split. They're not a very effective. They tell you, oh, here's some tips and put a bad review on them. This and that. And to me, as a landlord, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to get someone out, trying to get them transferred somewhere else, and I go throw a bad review. This guy sucks and this and that. The next landlord's gonna see that, right? I know I do want transparency. I want landlords to help each other out and make sure that they don't host someone bad. But that's not really, to me, that's not a good solution because I'm putting a ding on this guy's record and then he's gonna try to go get something else and they're gonna see that ding, obviously. And then they say try to they just don't have good suggestions. They don't have, and plus, when you hit that notice to vacate button, it gives them 14 days. So if I want a crazy person out of the house, I hit the notice to vacate button. To them, they're like, "Oh, I still got 14 days to stay here," right?
Okay.
Even though if I want someone out of my house, I'm gonna go get that 3 day notice to vacate, or put an eviction on their butts, right? If they're really
Okay.
crazy, they're
Yeah.
not really, like I said, they're not the best at handling crazy folks. And to me, they should be because I will say that the ratio of crazy people probably is a little bit higher in PadSplits. I'm not 100% sure, but from what I've seen, people a lot of people that can only afford a 1 bedroom because they got stuff on the record or they got bad credit or whatever it is.
It's a socioeconomic game for sure.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
they need to tighten up their game on that situation, on that, because you don't want a criminal doing something stupid in someone's house and hurting someone else, right?
See, and I'm happy you brought that up. I was wondering that too when PadSplit first came about. I'm like, okay, what's the target avatar that would rid a PadSplit? I'm like, if they're going for cost of living that cheap, we have to now be aware of who we're letting in. And that's also going to bring me back to something I got to tell you, and a guy we got to get on the podcast because this dude is making some heavy moves. But so you said when you want to get someone out, you just go on PadSplit and you push notice to vacate on that person's account.
Yeah, pretty much it.
Okay. And then that gives them 14 days. Now, let's say they don't leave within those 14 days. What happens?
That's the eviction. That's the eviction part of it.
Okay. And
So you have to
PadSplit, you handle it.
you handle
Okay.
it. They don't evict nobody from your place.
Okay. So my next question is this. What type of insurance do you have on your house now? Are you using proper or are you just using regular insurance?
I'm just using regular insurance.
Okay.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Just proper handle pad splits.
I don't know because my so the guy I was going to tell you about, he's out in Cali and he's doing what is this thing called when people get out of prison?
A halfway house.
Halfway houses. I've heard about halfway houses. My uncle was in one, whatever. Bro, I didn't know how much damn money bro, he's doing 30 grand a month off a door.
That's one door.
One door.
30,000. Who's paying 30,000? Is the government paying that shit? We're paying that shit. 30,000 a month.
A door, bro. I was like,
So how many
what?
doors he got in there?
8 rooms, bunk beds in every room. I said, what? He goes, yeah.
How many
He
bunks
goes,
in each room?
one,
Oh,
16
okay.
people. I said,
8.
30 bands? He said, yeah, bro. He goes, I just screen them. He goes, he sets the rules. They
Okay,
can't
wait
be,
a minute. You say one door. You mean the house.
yeah,
You don't mean
one
each
house.
room. Okay,
No, no,
okay.
no, no,
I
no,
was gonna
no.
say.
30 grand off the house.
Okay, that's
So
still good. It's still real
He's-
good.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, because he was like, but he broke it down to me. He goes, I can choose what type of offenders I want to allow in. He goes, I don't do, I think he said sexual abuse, assault, murder. He screens it out. So he's like mainly like people who've drug use, robbery, stuff like that. He'll take in. But I was listening to dude, I was like, damn, 30,000 a door. But this is what I read on this guy made a really good point on bigger pockets. He said, the bigger the cash flow, the bigger the risk.
Mm.
And I was like, ooh, I never thought about that shit. I was like, damn. He said in real estate, the bigger the cash flow, the bigger the risk. And that's what I'm starting to notice, especially with this PadSplit thing. Because the thing that like scared me and I didn't ever think about it, she was like, you got to figure out how you're going to insure that. Because something goes wrong, and let's say the insurance company finds out you're running something that they won't cover.
Mm.
Because I told her when she asked me about it, I said, I'll be honest with you, I would go ask PadSplit directly. Because if they're already fighting all these, the laws of the tenancy laws, right? If people can't be related, they're fighting that front. Okay, how do we get this insured? You know, but these are all learning lessons, and I think if PadSplit's gonna be around, I think they would eventually conquer these things. You know what I mean? Because it's very interesting. Because that was what I was wondering. I'm like, okay, the getting someone out thing, they sound like Airbnb. Insurance, I am worried about that. Because the only thing about insurance, Airbnb, their insurance, they're gonna fight you, but at least it's in place, right?
Right,
They have the $1 million policy. So yeah, I would ask them about that.
Huh. That's a good question. I will tell you one thing,
Yeah.
because and I heard this from I was listening to this PadSplit podcast, right? So this one guy, once these people get into PadSplits, they start getting a lot of units, right? You get up to 100 units,
Yeah.
not too long, because I mean, imagine 6, 7, 8 units per room per house. That adds up quick, right? So these guys, they see the cash flow and they start picking up more and more. And this one guy, what he does now, he'll go get a house that needs to be renovated, right? He'll use hard money to buy this house, and his goal is to turn it into a cash producing pad split, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what he does, he'll go buy one that needs work. He'll go in there, renovate it, get it all ready, nice and pretty, so he can get the appraisal done and then pull his money back out and then cash out refi and turn it into a pad split, right?
Okay.
But what he learned his lessons from doing this, and what I learned, I'm learning my lesson too, is that before you get the appraisal done, don't
Don't turn it into a PadSplit.
no, yeah. Now set it up like where you want some windows
Yeah.
here and you want some vents for the AC here, but don't put the walls up
Yep.
until the appraisal goes through.
Yep.
Once he goes in there, he sees a regular 3 bedroom, 2 bath house, he can comp that. You can't comp a 10 bedroom house against in a neighborhood with 3 bedrooms.
Nope.
They'll put that check mark on unique or strange house, and then that'll throw it all out of whack, right? Yeah, and so don't put the walls up until the mofo gets it all appraised as a regular 3-2. As soon as he leaves the door, put them walls up, right? And then start pad splitting it.
Hey, that's what I was. Yeah, that came up on Brandon Turner's podcast. Cam asked the guy. He was like, "Hey, man, are you ever worried? Like, if you ever sell this thing, your value, or are you just gonna be comfortable ripping all the walls?" And he's like, "I just have to take all the walls down, but right now it's cash flowing for me." Yeah, because I was gonna say it too. Yeah, I wouldn't set it up as a pad split. Let them appraise it, comp it. Nah, then I'll go back in there and set my walls up for real. So yeah.
Now here's one thing too, because I'm not renting it to these individuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm renting my house to PadSplit, to a corporation.
Uh-huh.
So it's like I'm renting it to one entity. I'm not renting it out to 6 or 7 different people. So I don't know how that affects the insurance and stuff like that, because I'm renting it to an LLC. Just like you rent your houses to your LLC, right?
Mm-hmm. But what if you had to file a claim?
To the insurance company for like normal, whatever could
Like,
happen.
yeah, because
Yeah.
like let's
What are they gonna say? Like, because
I don't
people,
know. That's what I'm wondering.
because if I'm renting to 6 people in that house, right?
Yeah,
A regular family is, 5 or 6 people, right?
but you got 6 different leases. No. Okay, so that's how PadSplit works. You're only renting to PadSplit.
Yeah. All these people that are in my house are part of this LLC that they set up for my house. And PadSplit themselves, they say that, okay, the word family can be interpreted in different ways. It could be people who are the same, same blood, or it could be just 5 or 6 individuals that call themselves a family. It's not like there's a certain definition of what a family is or what can be.
Well, it sounds like they were protected then.
Yeah,
Also
yeah.
another thing, PadSplit doesn't have any insurance carriers that they would suggest.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
I'd ask them.
I will say this too. Insurance don't want to pay for nothing anyways anymore, so there's that. Or they want you 10,000 out of pocket to pay for whatever happens at your house.
That's the point. That's what I'm saying. So like, insurance already don't want to pay,
Yeah.
and then if you, I wouldn't. Of course, I wouldn't tell them it's a patch, but you tell them that they're of course gonna make up. They're gonna come up with something that fine blueprint. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm wondering that too because when she was asking me, she was grilling me about these questions. I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I ain't never. I'm like, these would really be good pad split questions. You
I
know?
will say when I go in there and I use USAA insurance
Okay.
now, right?
Hmm.
And when I go in there, the only thing, when you're clicking all the information of the house, right? The only thing it asks you, will this house be rented under 30 days at a time? So in other words, the Airbnb thing is all the insurance companies ask that question now because they know some people do Airbnbs out of their house.
Hmm.
And so you just check no because people that are staying in PadSplits it's usually 3 months or more, right? So it's not a
Easy.
short-term rental.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So then you just check no on that mark. It doesn't ask you anywhere. Oh, is everybody in the house related by blood? It doesn't ask you that question.
Yeah. I think you would check no anyway because you're only renting the pad split, right?
Right.
How long's that lease?
With PadSplit,
Yeah.
that's a good question. I think it's just I don't know until I terminate it. I don't know. Because I mean
Yeah.
I could pull my house off PadSplit and it's done. But
Oh, okay.
I mean here's the thing too, because I've had roommates before in college.
Yeah,
We've rented, even in my house when I lived there at that house, I had, two other roommates renting rooms out of the house. Does that automatically make my insurance void and null? I don't
I
think
don't think
so.
so.
No.
I wouldn't think so. Because you
Yeah.
know how it is. Whenever something new hits the market, somebody comes up with something. Because even if you look at like proper,
Uh,
when Airbnb start hitting booms, now all of a sudden you got proper, you got steadily. They're like, oh, I'll cover it. And I wonder if there's somebody who pad split would be like, oh, I'll cover that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's interesting. It's interesting because it's new. Take advantage, ride the wave, like we used to always say.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's
Man,
that's
but at
fun.
least, but yeah, that's interesting, especially because I didn't know you have like males and females in the house. You
And
know,
that's and I thought that I could set up an all male house or all female house. I thought I could do
Discrim-
that, but it's
discriminatory.
discriminatory. Yeah, you can't. I mean, you can deny anybody you want. You don't even have to put a reason, you know what I'm saying? But anybody's allowed to book. So I see that people are, the good job, good background, no nothing in trouble. I run them through the background check. Everything comes out good. They got a good job. I just, I feel comfortable letting them in. And I have cameras in the front, cameras in the back. Um, I go there sometimes. My handyman goes there, and fixes whatever. And I can just walk straight in because I got access to all the common areas, bathroom, garage, whatever I need to do.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and I'll send a heads up. Hey, I'm gonna go by the house and get something. I don't want to just pop in on people, right? But yeah, there's a presence, and I make sure. And then they got the yard guy going, so it's not like, it's not like I don't know. I can always keep tabs on the house pretty
There you
good.
go. And you know what? With my long term rentals, that's how I keep tabs on it. I take care of the lawn care
Yeah,
purposely. I'm like, I'll take care of the lawn care. Then my uncle goes over there. He sees something. He be like, hey, nephew, your fence is doing this. Or, you know what I mean?
uh,
That's a very good way to kind of keep tabs on it.
yeah. And I've been getting people. I want to transition to talk about Furnished Finder a little bit because
Okay.
I've gotten two people from Furnished Finder already. One girl was there. Her 3 month thing was up, and so she's leaving. But then there's another guy from Furnished Finder coming into that same room that she's leaving, right? And
Okay.
so I'm using Furnished Finder as a feeder to the PadSplits, and that's
Like
to me
that.
that's pretty much. I've had really good tenants from Furnished Finder that people that are real, not scammers.
What a real, yeah. Yeah.
So
Because
yeah,
I thought First Finder would be like that good fee because remember when we saw this complaint like these people are cheap,
don't want to
but
pay
if you do,
nothing.
yeah, but you go to Pad Split, perfect transition.
So I have the listing on there, and I said, $700 a month
Hmm.
for a room, and I have the pictures of the house and pictures of the rooms, and people hit me up. If I do have vacancy, then I'll say, okay, room number two is available. I send them to the PadSplit site. You got to do it off of Furnish Finder because they're real anal about you putting links to outside stuff. You know,
Hmm.
they froze our account because we were putting here's the link to the PadSplit, you know,
Hmm.
and here's the link to sign up for PadSplit. Because we had to explain people, you know,
Hmm.
yes, we're on Furnished Finder renting by the room, but we go through PadSplit, and then we have to tell them it's safer for you. You know everybody who's staying there with you. You know it's free to sign up.
Yeah.
You just run the spiel,
Yeah.
and if you use the link to sign up through my link, then it waives the $100 move-in fee, right?
Yeah.
And so and people have been cool with it. They've been like, oh, okay, I understand. And so a lot of people haven't even heard Here's the thing: the Furnished Finder people, people who used to Furnished Finder,
Hmm.
they're getting hip to PadSplit because I started sharing my link, you know, first on the site and then they froze us, but then they unfroze us. We explained to them what we were doing, and now I share my links, you know, when I start texting with the person, right, or emailing with the people outside of Furnished Finder. And that link, my personal link, has been shared. I guess they start sharing it with their friends in the industry. You know, they're like, oh, you know, travel or fellow travel nurses. They're like, here, check this out. This is a
Hmm.
PadSplit thing. Like, oh, damn, I could rent by the room for cheaper than, you know. I'm just
Straight
saying.
up.
I'm just saying it's starting to get to pick up traction because I didn't put out my link to everybody. I gave it to a couple people, but then it's just been, you know, spreading out.
I'm gonna be real. Like, okay, comparing your pad splits to like your whole places, have you seen more traction? Have you seen any traction from like your bigger places on Furnish Finder?
You know, I wouldn't even bother putting a house on Furnished Finder anymore. It's not
I
even
was
worth
wondering
it
that.
because they don't want to pay
And
nothing.
it,
They want to pay you. You
and
don't want
it,
to rent your house for $1,500. You know, it's stupid. It's not even. It's not even.
that's
Uh, Now one bedroom apartments, maybe a two bedroom apartment. Yes, that makes you'll get some bookings, but a house no, unless it's a pad split.
yeah, that's what I was wondering. Because I'm like, Furnish Finder to me, people always saying, "Oh, I go to Furnish Finder to get midterm rentals." I'm like, what are you midterm renting? Because it ain't. Yeah, I'm like on a house. Hell no. Because yeah, I'm finding Furnish Finder to be dead. I even forget about them. Like I have a whole list of like places to list. Furnish Finder now that I have whole houses, it's like it just seems like it's dead. But I was like, man, that pad split piece, hell, pad split might be the nail in the coffin for old Furnish Finder.
Don't say that out loud. He might be listening.
My bad. I'm just saying, like, or they. I
I
mean,
think they need to work in conjunction with
yeah.
PadSplit. They need to
What?
hook up.
Yeah. Or I would. Yeah, man. What do they always say? Everyone at the bottom's competing. The collaboration's happening at the top.
Hmm.
They should collab. Because I mean, at this point, Furnish Finder right now, Furnish Finder has the target market for Pad Split. Find a way to collab on that. Because I mean,
I always thought it was funny because you know Jesse Vasquez, right?
mhm,
Midterm guru, a friend of the
mhm,
show, and a lot of his events are sponsored by Furnish Finder.
mhm.
And I'm like, man, you know, even the people going up on stage and preaching about corporate rentals, they know they ain't getting nothing from Furnish Finder. But Furnish Finder, I understand they're getting their name out there, but Furnish Finder, come on, man. Everybody gets down there, they don't want to spend no money.
They're trying to keep their footing in the door. Because so when I was out in Cali, the Furnish Finder lady was there. The one of their marketing people. She was
Yeah.
on stage preaching. About Furnish Finder, and I'm just like I don't get no traction for now. I just say it, but I was like, I don't see no track. I mean, unless you got smaller places, yeah, it works. But like me, I'm like, man, hell no. But
You might get a scammer interested in your house.
damn, we're dogging PadSplit tonight. I mean, Furnish Finder.
Furnish Finder, man.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. It's been a while since I had a hit on Furnish Finder. It's been a while. Everything I get is through email or straight up through like email, Airbnb, but like mainly emails and phone calls, bro. Like I think I just seen my Google Voice line, my VA since we've been on this call was talking to somebody from Furnish Finder. They said out of my budget.
Mm.
So I mean, yeah, man. I think it's yeah.
I think they need to get with the program because they need to identify that a lot of people on Furnish Finder don't. Well, first of all, they don't want to pay a lot of money, and now a lot of them are comfortable written by the room. So I think it's a nice marriage if they do link up with PadSplit, and they could even make it where they can book it through Furnish Finder into the PadSplit. You know, do
I
something
agree.
like that.
Yeah.
because we're going off we have to go off platform. And they've always been an off platform type website, right? They'll link you up with the person and it's up to you to host them. But I think it might give them more I guess more control. You know, if they did link up with PadSplit, because instead of slowly watching your market shrink because PadSplit's taking all your people, because it's going to spread word of mouth like crazy, right? All these travel nurses are going to start telling other travel nurses, dude, just go to PadSplit. You can rent by the week on there. You know what I'm saying? Whereas even Furnished Finder is 1 month at a time. But on PadSplit, if you pay a premium, you can rent by the week. So if you don't like a place, you transfer it to another PadSplit or whatever. So I think they really need to start, yeah, to start linking up with PadSplit pretty good.
And I agree with you. And I think what you really touched on something really big, because you said people are comfortable renting by the room now. I think that's the shift in America right now. I think people are going to like smaller living spaces. So I mean, that's why I think like renting by the rooms and ADUs are the future of America. ADUs especially, because I thought ADUs would be passing in like these dense areas, but like Arkansas, where I'm at, they just passed ADUs by right. You, as long as you have a single family lot, you can build a house in your backyard. As long as it's not, I think it has to be like, it can only be 75% of the main house, which kind of pissed me off because I had a 936 square foot house sitting on a 10,000 square foot lot, bro. I could have built another house in the backyard, and the backyard has this big gate on the side, and I could have just built a concrete path going back there. But you live and you learn. I got a duplex out of it, so I'm not mad. But so that just shows you where things are going in America, you know. And I'm like, in a place like Arkansas allowing that, I'm like, damn. Texas, I think, is eventually going to get with it. So ADUs, you're going to start seeing more small houses and backyards and people renting them out, you know. So yeah, ADUs and rent by the room. I think that's going to be a wave for a while, especially with house buying. It's crazy for first timers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. No, I'm big. I'm big on PadSplit. It was a learning
Yeah.
curve. I still do the short term rentals. I have my system, my team and my systems built out for that, and I still love landing the big corporate fish. You know, I still do
Heck
that.
yeah.
Right? It's good money, but now I have like another tool. I can go shopping in the hood every now and then. You know what I'm saying?
Straight up.
I don't
Yeah.
have to. Well, one thing that comes to mind, and I think I brought it up on the show with you. I know I brought it up on the show before. But you remember the great Bill Parcells that coached the Cowboys back in the day? He brought him back
Yep.
to glory days, and of course left because he couldn't deal with Jerry. But
Everybody's sick of dealing with Jerry. Yeah.
but even his own family. But anyways, dude, real quick on that, the Cowboys. I was
Oh
looking
my
at
God.
Monday, right? I was like, in the morning, I was like, I'm just gonna look at this. I know they're playing Monday Night Football. I'm gonna go look at how much the tickets cost for Monday Night Football. There was tickets available and seats, real seats, not the standing room crap. The real seats for like $40,
Man.
$40. I've
Yeah.
never seen Dallas Cowboys tickets so cheap. And standing room was like $20, and I was like, but I was like, still,
Ooh.
that's overpriced for me because I ain't gonna go pay $200 to park. I ain't gonna go pay $10 for a drink and then $100 for a value meal. I ain't doing it. Screw
Yeah.
you, Jerry. Anyways, so yeah, the good news with the Cowboys losing last night and having a 3-5 whatever record, there's gonna be a lot more $40 tickets if you want to go see the Cowboys.
Yeah. Cause my supervisor from work, he texted us last night. He was at the game, you know, and he was like, "Yeah, we're just a glutton for punishment coming to these." I was like, "Yeah, bro. I don't know. It's over for the Cowboys."
Even
But
Stephen A. Smith left. Okay.
yeah, but check it out. We got good. We got at least. Oh, so I went to see. I went to the Mavs game.
Oh,
I went
nice.
to the Mavs game. I went to my boy had some free tickets. Shout out to my guy D. He had some free tickets, so we went to the Mavs game. We checked them out. Hey, Cooper Flag, legit.
Oh, really?
Cooper Flag, legit. That's a legit star, bro. If the Mavs were healthy, they'd be a problem, bro.
Yeah.
If they were healthy.
AD's hurt again, right?
Yeah, AD's hurt. Kyrie's hurt. And AD, man, and the whole time, so we were at the game and we were in the seats, and AD kept hitting the ground, and like every time he hit the ground, everybody be like, "Is he gonna get up?" Because man, That dude makes you nervous, man. I'm like, bro, just don't hit the ground. Street clothes, man.
My buddy at work calls him.
Street clothes.
They calls him Flow Show. Because is it every time he makes a bucket, he ends up on the flow.
Bro, he does, man. I'm like, bro, get your big ass up, man.
He calls him Flow Show.
Bro, man, every time that dude score a bucket, he on the ground. I'm like, man, get your big ass up, man. Go do you some agility drills, bro.
So I'll go back to my favorite quote of Bill Parcells. And he was at a press conference. His press conferences were fun. He'd talk crap to the reporters and he'd just be, he was cool. But they asked him about horse racing. Because he was a big, horse race fan, right? And someone asked him, "Hey, the Kentucky Derby's coming up. What horse should I bet on?" And Parcells like, "Oh," he goes, "the tracks would love you." He goes, "They'll send the car to come get you. You're looking to put all your money on one horse and hope to win, right?" He goes, "That's not how you win." He goes, "You don't bet big to win small. Betting for the favorite horse, you're not gonna win, whatever, a lot of money. You bet small to win big." And I was like, okay, that makes sense with horse racing because you set up your trifectas or whatever, the ones you're gonna place, and you could put a few $10-$20 down and win like $10,000 if you do it right. That's betting small to win big instead of putting $10,000 and losing it all in one bet. So I always thought about that, and it stuck with me all these years. And with starting to buy more houses, I'm like, do I go and buy that beautiful big old house with all the bells and whistles and spend my whole nut on that one house? Or do I go use that same $100,000 that I want to go spend some money on and get 10 houses, putting $10,000 each down on, spreading it across 10 houses, owner finance, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, and I think of that a Parcells quote, I should bet small to win big instead of just put it all in one house and hoping for some cash flow.
Straight up, man. Straight up. I feel it on that. That reminds me of that's why I'm kind of looking into that multifamily, bro.
Right.
Go big, bro.
So $500,000, and then you have to put how much percent down on that?
20%. But you got to make sure ain't no major repairs in there, and that's what I fear. I fear some major repairs in there because I'm like, you dropped the price by $100,000, even though, and it's a good deal on paper because the only thing you really got to do, let's say if there was no major repairs, all you got to do is raise the rent. He's charging like $500 a month. And when I went over there, I just smelled nothing but weed. I was like, damn, he's going bottom of the barrel, man. So,
well, don't you get it inspected though?
Yeah, you get it inspected. Yeah, you got to get it inspected.
I would assume it costs a lot of money for an apartment complex.
Yeah, it costs a little bit more. Yeah, but it's only 12 units. But yeah, it's definitely gonna cost more. Oh, the one thing we got to talk about, man. So it's finally here. How has the Airbnb 15% fee been hitting you?
So the 15%, I just like I said, you're able to do inhospitable. Raise it through there. So I haven't really seen a difference.
Okay. See, I haven't either. I did the same thing. I just raised mine 16% on Hostfully. I just shot it up 16%. And then I haven't seen the difference yet either. But it's interesting. It was interesting to see that. Because like they said, and it's basically for anybody using anything. So I was listening to Sean the other day. He said it's for like, even if you're only on Airbnb and you're not using a property management system, even if you connect to Price Labs, they'll charge it. I was like,
really?
Damn. Yeah. So Price Labs is considered an outside platform. So if you're connected to Price Labs, they're charging you 15%. So you got to up your prices.
Wow, that's crazy.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that. I was like, damn. I'm like, yeah, they coming. Airbnbs. Yeah.
Coming for all that money.
Yeah, they coming for all of it because it's like yeah.
So I did see you in the AI Hoopty video. What was that about? the Cadillac with the rims or whatever. What were you driving in, man?
That was probably a Cadillac. Those are my rapping ones. Those are the ones I use for like, talking about wealth building, talking about buying ugly houses, things of that nature. I got a bunch of those.
Where'd you get that software for that? What is that?
Oh, that's Sora. So I made a video about it. So if anybody wants to go to my Instagram and find out how I'm making all these videos, you can. It takes probably 30 seconds. So I get on ChatGPT and I tell it to create a Sora prompt of what I want it to do, and then I put it in Sora, and Sora probably takes about a minute to 5 minutes to create the video, and it creates it, and then I just download it and post it. So like all that stuff's like AI. I got like AI stuff of me in the Live Let Thrive studio. We're talking about, different stuff. So yeah, I've been playing with a lot of AI, man. It got like, I think we're at like, let me see something. It's crazy like how it works. People really tune into it. They really engage with it because here it is. So I did my last 30 days, I got 121,800 views.
Damn.
On my Instagram. Yeah, just by posting AI stuff. That's crazy. Yeah. So, and then we had one of our videos go crazy. The one I posted with Adam James, that one went crazy too. Cause I snipped that through Opus, which is another AI tool I use. That one has like 60,000 plays right now.
Damn.
Yeah. Straight from the podcast. So I just been, using this AI as much as I can. And it's been helping,
That's cool, man. Hell yeah. So welcome to the show. If y'all saw us on an AI video.
Yeah, by the way, this ain't the AI Myka. This is the real Myka. My friends be asking me, like, is this the AI you or this the real you? So yeah, this is the real me right here, man.
Hey, man, how do you get your skin to glow like that?
Yeah. Crazy, man. So yeah, we've been having some fun with that. But that's mainly what I've been doing, man. I traveled for business and, learning these different multifamily rules and, dealing with Airbnb's new crap. So we'll see how that goes. But I haven't seen a difference either.
So it is a buyer's market right now.
Yeah. And we got to talk about that because that's why I was wondering. That's why he dropped that $100,000. But I don't know. I think something's wrong with the BA. It is a buyer's market.
It's a buyer's market. The prices are dropping around here.
They are, bro. They're dropping heavy. I was really considering doing another 1031, but I'm like, I can't pull that type of cash. I could because I'm minor staged. And by the way, if your house is staged, it's way easier to sell in a buyer's market and probably get full price. But I was thinking about doing another 1031 because I text my mentor, text that. I was like, bro, should I be 1031 in these things to bigger units? He goes, if you can increase your cash flow with a 1031 and go to multifamily, do it. So I was like, bet. So I'm gonna consider that.
You should do it, man.
I know. I'm thinking about it because it's like, you got to look at return on equity, man. You got a bunch of equity sitting there, and it could be making you 3 to 4 times more cash flow on a big multifamily, bro. And that's how these multimillionaires are made, bro. They don't tell you, hey, they started with a single family. They turned that single family into a duplex, into a quad. They turned that quad into a 15 unit. That's how it works. Those are the secrets, and then they get the cash flow they want, number they want, and they pay it off, and then they just keep investing.
There's power in that. Using the same dollar over and over again. Grow and grow.
Straight up.
Oh man. So we've been at it over an hour. Yeah, so you want to wrap it up here? We got some more stuff to talk about for the next episode.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is a fun episode. It's always good to get back in the saddle.
Yeah, especially with these PadSplit stories, man. You're gonna definitely be schooling us on that. So
yeah, I got more of those, but let's just say, well, it's like Survivor Island kind of deal.
Yeah.
When you get a group of people in there, factions start getting formed, and so it gets a little Survivor Island style, man.
Yeah, what is that show, man? What's that show back
Survivor?
In the day? No, the one on MTV. Dave Chappelle made fun of it, man. The one that used to be on MTV back in the day, Real World or Road Rules.
Oh, Road Rules, Real World, yeah.
Man. Dave Chappelle said, they always put this black dude in this house with all these white people, and they try to act like he crazy. I was like, dude, you just said, oh man, you gotta watch that Dave Chappelle episode when he made fun of Real World, man. And he put a white dude in the house with all black dudes.
Yeah, that was funny. That was hilarious. He got shanked.
Yeah. Oh shit, man. Yeah, man. Funny stuff. But yeah, man, thank y'all for continuing to listen to us. We hopping in hopefully again next week or whenever we had time. We've been busy, but yeah, thank you. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, send us a message, DM, email us livethatthrive@gmail.com, and thank y'all for continuing to listen to us. We are out.
Peace.
Later.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.